Today's very quick adventure takes place in the heart of downtown Chattanooga, off of Chestnut, Martin Luther King, and Carter Street, where we're going to learn about some interesting history about the Reed House Hotel. And hello, my friends, Mr. Nomad Ben here. So as I'm filming this, I'm actually taking a quick break from filming inside the Chattanooga Comic-Con. There was just a lot of let's just say a lot of amazingness that was happening in there, and I was so overwhelmed. And of course, you're probably going to see that vlog before airing this one. I was just so happy to at least not necessarily meet like the voices behind the Clone Wars and Rebels voices of Star Wars, but at least I could ask them a really awesome question, and I was just so happy with the answers they gave me. And then on top of that, just looking around the vendors, and then also running into an old friend of mine back in Disney who is now a voice actor. It was just so good to see him again, Mr. Keston Howard. So it was just really nice to have him come down, and when I found out he was a guest. But anyway, this video is not about Chattanooga Comic-Con. You guys can see everything you want to know about that. So check out those vlogs, because that's a very new thing that's happening in our city of Chattanooga. But we're here to talk about the Reed House Hotel. So I want to take a little break from the haunted things, but there is something incredibly haunted about this hotel, and my friend Chet has covered a vlog about it, and perhaps 2024 I might cover about it, or heck, I might even come back for Halloween and do it. I have not scheduled a tour for room 311, but however, I want to talk about a little bit of history that's about the Reed House Hotel, and we're going to talk about the days of the Prohibition or the dry era, where back then when the stock market crashed and no one was allowed to drink alcohol. So we had to have history of bootleggers. And at this hotel, the famous bootlegger of all time, the biggest criminal back in that day during the 20s and the Great Depression, Al Capone was captured at this hotel. And it looks like they got some history about some people outside this hotel. I figured, why don't we go check out the lobby, check out the history, and see where we go from here. And here we go.
It's all about where you've been, Nomad Ben. Tell us all about the finer points of living and just traveling. Food, beer, history, nature quest. Every corner of this all to the great Midwest. Tell us all about where you've been, Nomad Ben.
And here we are, my friends, the Reed House Hotel, founded in 1872 in downtown Chattanooga. So yes, big bootlegger by the name of Al Capone. You might know him from a lot of criminal history that's happened throughout the Roaring 20s and the Great Depression. Because back in the days, alcohol wasn't allowed to drink in America, so people had to make their own alcohol and sell it underground. Well, we could go ahead and start from the 1847, learning about the start of the hotel. John Crutchfield, the Crutchfield House, an agreement with the Nashville and Chattanooga Railroad to build a Union Station across the street. Then the ownership, following his father's death, was later elected mayor. Of course, like Jefferson Davis. So again, pause if you want to read, if there's anything that catches your interest. Not as lively as I am with this one, but there's just a lot of history to take in. So we got something about Mr. Reed himself here. Dr. Reed sells a hotel lease to his son Samuel at only 19. He grows a beard to look more like more mature, and begin his storied career. So basically, imagine back in the day, back then we trusted people at that young age group to run hotels like that, which is really cool. About early morning, fire breaks out in the flame kitchen. Sam Reed and his wife alerts to 150 guests. A little thing going on there. Look at that. And then 1890s, the Andrew Raiders stay at the Reed House to attend the dedication of the Ohio Monument. And don't forget about the amazing Coca-Cola history that happened around the Chattanooga and Atlanta area, basically all throughout the South. But let's kind of think about more like Tennessee and Northwest Georgia and Atlanta with the history of Coca-Cola. And we got the first horseless carriage of 1901, owned by Dr. Nelson. Then Sam Reed is interested in dairy farming, and he leases the hotel until 1920. And he returns to call it the Dynamo of Dixie. Okay. And look at this, in 1926, just imagine this. I did not look at a price, how much it costs to stay here, but back in the day, 1926, the rooms would be $2.50. And then we get away over to the 30s. The Winston Churchill was actually here to stay at the Reed House. And then we talk about Al Capone stayed in room 311, I believe is the haunted room here in the city. But we all know Al Capone has had so much connections through the Midwest and throughout the South. I've actually learned that he had some distilleries in Ringgold not too long ago. But it was right there, because yep, he stayed at the haunted room. He never mentions that he was in the encounter with the female ghost in room 311. But still, what are the odds of having the world's most, at the time, the world's most notorious criminal staying in the most haunted room and being captured in here in downtown Chattanooga? And there's a bunch of famous people and celebrities that have stayed here throughout the years. And then in 1942, Sam Reed and his wife enjoy a long, colorful career at the Reed House that ends with Sam's death when he was 83 years old in 1942. See, Ronald Reagan was here, and then Elvis Presley, President Nixon, and then everything else here up to the 2020s, celebrating over 150 years and counting of the Reed House Hotel. And as was mentioned earlier, Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of England, him and his daughter stayed at this room before at the Mary Garden Suite inside the Reed House Hotel. And then making our way over to Peacock Alley. Peacock Alley is added to the Reed House in 1902 and copied the Peacock Alley and Waldorf Hotel in New York City. Now look at this here. Walt Disney actually has little ties to Chattanooga as well. Walt Disney Production identifies Chattanooga as a filming location for The Light in the Forest. During the filming of the movie, which occurred in the Lookout Valley Mountain, Chattanooga, the Reed House hosted many of the production staff, including Walt Disney. Okay, I did not know this, and I have not really spent time around here, but that is amazing. I had no idea Walt Disney had any ties to Chattanooga, Tennessee. So, wow, this is really cool. And then Edwin Booth, John Wilkes Booth. He's the brother of John Wilkes Booth, the famous Shakespearean actor in the 19th century. Spent a couple nights here at the Crutchfield House, and appearing doing a show. Edwin was a supporter of Lincoln, but John was an extreme secessionist and drove a wedge between the brothers. All right, very interesting. Wow. And notable guests that stayed at this hotel, such as Bob Hope, Doris Day, who's this? Rye Stevens, preacher Billy Graham, Elvis Presley, Richard Nixon, Walt Disney, Oprah Winfrey, and most recent Prince. Hey, maybe one day we could put it right here, Mr. Nomad Ben. Now that'll be something. And then there's the Motor Inn. In the 1960s, a modern trend impact the hotel industry, and Reed House innovates once again by starting plans of construction of a downtown Motor Inn, giving travelers a choice of a motor hotel or traditional hotel. So basically, they call it motels in the near futures, but then they were called Motor Inns, easy for cars to have access. And here's the main entrance into the Reed House this way. And make your way in this way into the Reed House. Being greeted by lions here. Check out the lobby inside. We're gonna come back in here in the future, but I just want to guys to get a gist of how nice this hotel was back in its heyday. But this is beautiful. Wow. And I was greeted by one of the bellhops. His name is John. Very, very nice man. And I gave him my card. He's going to talk to management to get me in doing a little tour to room 311, where Mr. Al Capone was captured. And then we'll go look into the haunted parts of the room 311. But we're just going to kind of just enjoy ourselves and get ourselves a little stroll inside and just kind of get a feel of like what this is. This is just straight up awesome. Like Universal history. So this is just like a little game room back in the day. I mean, of course you got books to read and statues and artifacts to admire. But look at this though. They got the old chessboards or checkerboards. So this was like the arcades back in the days before. Now everyone has like a game room or a air hockey table or just a bunch of little toys that went for your kids. But then you got checkers and chess. A really nice little lobby area all throughout here. Look at that. Take a look at the old telephone booths. Look at that. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was a face. Wow. And look at an old-timey cash register. The sale or no sale button. I'm not gonna touch it, but just the look at the old technology, what it used to be. You got the Bridgman Chop House here. I wonder what the prices to eat some food here would be. Yeah, let's just say, look at that. So we got two for $4, $79 and $145 a person. That is really cool. And the 8-ounce filet steak, 8 ounces, $49. Wow. And there's a little Starbucks over here. Midway over here, we got some pictures, little silhouettes of Sam and his family. That's Sam at 50 years old right here. And Katie Reed. There's the Reed house. And then there's Samuel Reed, growing that beard to make him look more manly. Some artifacts over here. Little flyers that they sent out throughout the city. Rates between $2 to $4 a day to stay there. Got one of those old-timey eggs. And kind of look at it here, you got shoe shiners. Back in the day when men wore suit jackets and dress shoes every day to work, didn't matter what kind of job it really was, they would wear suit and ties and dress shoes, and they would have somebody come and shine their shoes. They'll put their feet right here, and then you'll have somebody with a rag and make sure that the gunk and garbage is all off the feet. And then here's where you could get your mail. You're staying here more than a night. And then you got yourself the old-timey record players. Just imagine just putting a record here and just sitting down and just enjoying some music. And you can hear the music going on right now. It's just very peaceful. And that, my friends, was just a little gist of what's inside the Reed Hotel and its history. I cannot wait to come back and hopefully get that ghost tour booked at room 311 and know more about Al Capone history and that little ghost stories that happened in there. But I think it's only appropriate to end the vlog with the man himself, Mr. Disney. I'm wearing the appropriate hat for it, and now he owns Star Wars as well. So I gotta get back to the con, but gotta give my recognition for over 100 years of amazingness and magic that he's brought to every household in America and all over the world. So, Mr. Disney, always good to see you. And yeah, this was a very interesting hotel. It's a very beautiful hotel. And if I'm ever making enough money, I would love to stay one night at this hotel. It was a beautiful hotel, and I cannot wait to come back to do more things here, like I said earlier. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Eat well and keep your mind walking. I'll see you guys later.